Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys sign speedy receiver who makes explosive catches. The Dallas Cowboys remain busy in the days following the 2024 NFL Draft. The Dallas Morning News' Michael Gehlken reported that the team met with wide receiver Tyron Billy Johnson on April 30, 2024, with the expectation that the team would consider signing the wideout. Hours later, the Cowboys made Billy Johnson's signing official along with Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys RB Ezekiel Elliott's signing may be officially processed Tuesday, Gehlken detailed in an April 30, 2024 message on X. So could another, Tyron Billy Johnson, a speedster who spent most of last season on practice squad, is visiting team and may sign upon completion of a physical, two people familiar with situation said. Billy Johnson spent the majority of last season on the Cowboys' practice squad but did not play in a game. The veteran signed a practice squad deal with Dallas on August 30, but the team released the wideout on January 4. Billy Johnson offers the Cowboys elite speed, posting a 4.34-second 40-yard dash. This speed has not necessarily translated to production at the NFL level. The receiver's best season came with the Los Angeles Chargers in 2020 when Billy Johnson posted 20 receptions for 398 yards and 3 touchdowns in 12 appearances. Billy Johnson also has special teams experience as a returner, something increasingly valuable given the recent NFL rule changes. The playmaker last played with the Houston Texans and Las Vegas Raiders in 2022. The wideout also suited up with the Jacksonville Jaguars during his career. After a promising collegiate season at Oklahoma State, Billy Johnson went undrafted in 2019. The wideout posted 53 receptions for 845 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2018. Heading into the 2019 NFL Draft, NFL.com's Lance Zierlein praised Billy Johnson's speed and ability to make explosive catches. Deep ball specialist with ability to take the top off defenses, Zierlein wrote in his pre-draft profile of the receiver. Johnson's game is geared to get down the field and make explosive catches, but the rest of his skill set is still very raw. While he can force safeties away from the line of scrimmage, he's not an instinctive route runner and gives too many clues away to cornerbacks who will swarm his breaks as a pro. He has great deep speed to get into a camp, but shaky hands and modest production may foreshadow an uphill climb. Dallas released Michael Gallup in March, but the Cowboys have been quiet at the position throughout the offseason. The Cowboys have yet to make a significant veteran addition at receiver. Dallas waited until the 6th round to draft their first receiver in Southeast Missouri State's Ryan Flournoy. Gallup finally found a new home after signing a one-year deal with the Raiders. Former Cowboys Wr Michael Gallup agreed to a one-year contract with the Raiders, a person familiar with the deal said. Gehlken said in an April 29 message on X, "It's worth up to $3 million. Fresh start for him. He is healthy, more than 2 years removed from his ACL and MCL tears." Will McClay shares his thoughts on each Cowboys draft pick. The 2024 NFL Draft is in the books and the Dallas Cowboys executed one trade back to finish the draft with 8 total picks. They addressed left tackle, defensive end, center/interior offensive line, linebacker, cornerback, wide receiver, offensive tackle, and one tech defensive tackle. Like every draft, there are picks that fans like more than others and other picks that made the fanbase scratch their heads. The biggest takeaway if you scan social media on Tuesday morning is that the Cowboys failed to address running back in the draft. Instead, they brought back a familiar face by re-signing RB Ezekiel Elliott after playing a year in New England. Post-draft, The Athletic's John Machota documented an incredible interview with Cowboys VP of Player Personnel Will McClay voicing his thoughts on each of the draft picks. This topic will be broken up into 2 separate articles, covering the first 4 picks of the draft today and concluding tomorrow with the final 4 picks. When you build an offensive lineman, you look for athleticism, the feet. We have a history of guys who do things at a high level at that position. There were some traits that definitely showed us that was there. You talk about athletic ability, and left tackles are usually more athletic, and this guy is an athletic guy. Basketball background, he has some defense in his nature. We feel good about him moving to the left side. The way he plays the game, there's a little nasty to him. Tyler Guyton was a right-side player at Oklahoma, but it's a little misleading because he had a left-handed quarterback, so he's used to protecting the blind side. If there's a little nasty to him, then that's exactly what this Cowboys team has been missing on a larger scale over the past couple of seasons. The number one thing about him is the high effort and motor that he plays with. Then to be physically talented enough to play at this level. The more you watch him, the more you see NFL traits, and then you see the traits that we are looking for on the defensive side, playing hard all the time and having the ability to rush the passer outside and inside. As hard as DeMarcus Lawrence played at Boise State, there are some similarities there. Marshawn Kneeland was a surprise pick to those, not me, that didn't think defensive end was a need on this team. How many times last year did we say to ourselves, if only we had another DeMarcus Lawrence on this team? Well, Kneeland has the potential to be that guy for the Cowboys for the next 10 years. If he can put it all together, it's a great use of their second-round pick. Cowboys urged to trade for angry, demoted Texans RB. The Cowboys, by most accounts, did exactly what was expected of them in the 2024 NFL Draft, and did it fairly well, to boot. Coming into the pick-a-thon, they needed help in the interior most of all, and addressed that by taking offensive lineman Tyler Guyton, first, and Connor Beebe, third, with 2 of their first 3 picks. Both could be starters in 2024, but, no pressure, guys. They also addressed the holes on the defensive line and at linebacker in the first 3 rounds, then took some late stabs at further bolstering the interior on both sides of the ball. What they did not do, notably, is draft a running back. They left that to be addressed on Monday with the re-signing of former star Ezekiel Elliott. It's a nice story and all. But Elliott is not the horse he was in the first 4 seasons of his career, when he earned 3 Pro Bowl nods and led the league in yardage per game 3 times. The Cowboys' running back room now sits with Elliott as the likely starter, along with Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and fullback Hunter Luepke. The Cowboys are looking at a running back by committee situation. But the committee needs an upgrade, and SI.com's Cowboys site has a thought. It's urging the team to add demoted Texans star Dameon Pierce to the mix. Dustin Mosher writes that the Texans figure to be overloaded at running back, and that the Cowboys should be able to pilfer a guy who has proven he can be an every-down back in the NFL. Mosher wrote, the surprise signing of Joe Mixon by the Houston Texans throws a wrench into Dameon Pierce's role. The Texans also used a draft pick on running back Jahvar Jordan. This logjam could present an opportunity for Dallas. Pierce, a physical runner with good receiving ability, could be had for a mid to late round pick. Even with the signing of Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas needs to add more depth to the running back room, and Pierce could fill that void at a minimal cost. Indeed, the trade return for Pierce figures to be low, given the Texans need to clear up some room on the depth chart. Pierce had lost out on carries to Devin Singletary last year, and now will be behind Mixon. Last year, the Texans appeared prepared to make Pierce a key part of the offense. New offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick appreciated Pierce's angry style of running, and Pierce promised more of the same. I don't have good intentions, especially this year, Pierce said during the preseason. Slowick emphasizes that, so now I have to find ways to be even angrier. But as the year went on, it was Singletary who was the featured back. Pierce lost the starting job after he was injured in Week 7. It was a surprise turn. Pierce is only 24 years old and was a 4th-round pick out of Florida in 2022. He made a name for himself as a rookie when he rushed for a respectable 939 yards in 13 games, averaging 4.3 yards per carry. He suffered an ankle injury that held him out of the final 4 games of the season, or he would have easily topped 1,000 yards rushing. Pierce totaled 4 rushing touchdowns and added 165 yards receiving out of the backfield, with another touchdown. That makes Pierce, now coming off a season in which he averaged only 2.9 yards per carry and played 32% of the team's snaps, a prime trade candidate. The Cowboys are a team in need. Pierce has had success, and makes sense as a fit here. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Dameon Pierce? Leave your opinion in the comments.